Hello everybody and welcome back to the automation campaign, where in the last episode we started out our very new Swedish car company called Vilulf. Now, we made a really successful, I say successful, we are making a lot of money, but we aren't selling as many cars as we want to. Mainly because we are being held up due to our engine factory, but that's a problem for another time right now. So what we're going to be doing this episode is we're going to be introducing a more utility focused vehicle into this lineup of the company in order to try and help with growing the company and growing the country, because in this fictional world we are still trying to repair the country from the Second World War, and this company is there trying to produce vehicles, affordable vehicles, to try and help with that rebuild. So what we're going to do is, I've had a little look. Turns out this car that we've made has a utility focused variant on it. So I reckon we're going to be using that to create a facelift for this vehicle, produce a utilitarian variant of it, and then we will try and see if we can build a more rugged off-roady kind of vehicle for people who live in a more rural place. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So here we are, we're going to be producing a facelift, and not much is going to change on the vehicle. I mean, I can have a look, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the one with the big engine. We're not going to change much about it. We're going to keep a rear engine, which may sound stupid for a van, but we don't have much choice considering we're working with this platform. And yeah, so let's have a look. So we got trims over here, I reckon right on the end of this. Oh, incompatible engine layout. So we can't actually produce a pickup or a van variant of this vehicle, which is very interesting because I actually trialed it earlier on and it seemed to have worked. But that is throwing a bit of a spanner in the works. Yeah, let me go have a look at what else we can do, and then I'll be back with you guys shortly. Well, one thing we can most certainly do is use this body. It looks quite van-like, and then we could produce more pickup-y style from that vehicle, and then have a look what else we can produce from it. But I'd reckon we'll make this our utilitarian platform. So we're going to take the middle-sized one, so the 2.6 meter long variant, and we're going to make a steel monocoque steel. Actually, this is a utility focused vehicle, so we'll keep this on a ladder chassis, which does leave us with only front engine, but I reckon that is the way we want to go anyway. So I'm going to go with a solid axle core on the front and leaf suspension on the back, because we want this thing to have some decent cargo capacity. So that's what we're going to be working with. Now, in terms of engines, I'm going to trial the 1.1 litre engine. I doubt it has enough power to pull anything though. So what we're going to do is we're going to go rear wheel drive, we're going to go manual 3-speed. Only 107 kilometers an hour top speed, even though this is a just a regular sized van. Now, despite the fact we have our biggest engine, I reckon I mean we do definitely need to put a different engine to the car. So for the time being, we're going to stick with 255s. I reckon that'll do us nicely. We're going to go with 2 drums on the front, I reckon, for the time being, and then see what else we need on. Maybe we can downgrade to the single drums and then, or the single SLs, and we can work with that. We're going to have 2 seats in the front. We don't want this to be a multi-seat. We're going to have a basic interior with no radio, no infotainment, and yeah, so far it's not looking great for this vehicle. It has a max load capacity of 660 kilos though, which is decent. But I reckon, yeah, the engine's underpowered despite this being the biggest engine in the lineup. So we're gonna go with the maximum cargo load. Let's see what it says. Can we actually see the top speed even with it loaded? Sadly not, but it doesn't reach 100 kilometers an hour, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so I reckon we're going to have to produce a bigger engine, which means another factory, which means we're going to have to build 2 new factories, and basically I just hope this is a good idea, but we'll make it work. So yeah. producing the bigger engine, I reckon we take this engine that we already have. Don't know why this is actually here. I reckon it's because it's already in the vehicle. And we're going to produce a... Well, we're going to make an inline 6 variant of it. So we're going to make a pretty much a copycat version of it, of the 3-cylinder, just in 6-cylinder form. So we're going to go with harmonic dampeners. We're going to go cast everything. And yeah, pretty much just the same with the other vehicle. We're going to try and replicate it. And hopefully it'll produce enough power. So... let's see here. So we're going to go with Eco Twin Barrel. We'll go standard low. We're going to have the same fuel type and ignition and everything. We're going to try and keep that as close to the original engine as possible, because this is, in theory, just a 3-cylinder stuck together with another 3-cylinder. Well, that's at least my thinking here. So, powerful. That's what I'm saying. But it turns out we have gone a little bit too much on the compression side of things. So let's have a look here. We're going to increase... oh no, decrease the timing. What's it saying? Car severe wheel spin issues. That's no surprise to me. So, oh, I forgot to make... I was about to say, no wonder it's powerful. It's a 3-litre. So, what was the other engine? I think it was 75. And then... 75 with a 2.2 litre, so yeah, there you go, 75 and 83. So that seems fine to me. Now let's tune the springs and lifters again. Yeah, this is starting to turn into a quite nice vehicle already. We can increase the... oh, what's this? Severe wheel spin issues, that's fine. Are we knocking? Not right now, no. But we're going to take down the exhaust a little bit. This will be fine. It's very torquey, this engine. And quite, well, I say low down, it's 2,800 RPMs, but we're going to try and replicate this like with the other engine. And this is a very rev-happy engine, so we could probably let it rev out to 5,000. Increase the stiffness on the valves. And we should already be looking quite handy when it comes to power and all that kind of all that good stuff, and torque and everything. Oh, we're already knocking. Are we knocking? We're not knocking anymore. So I'll leave it for like this for the time being, and I'll come back to this once the vehicle has been made and I'm sure that we actually want to build it, because I'm not entirely sure if we want to actually make this, because I was hoping to use the other platform to make the utilitarian focused vehicle, but we'll see. So let's have a listen to the engine first, and then we'll get on to designing the actual car. The exact same thing as the 3-cylinder. It's a not very rev-happy engine. As soon as it gets to about 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 RPMs, it starts to really start chugging. So let's have a little bit of a play around with the morphing on this body. I've never actually used this body, so let's have a look. I mean, that looks alright. We can pull this forwards a little bit. We can really mess around with this. Pull this forwards a little bit, maybe this little bit back, and just try and make it look like it's one of our vehicles is what I'm planning on doing. So short front, try and keep it somewhat curvy on the front. Yeah, should look alright after we've worked on it. So yeah, we're not going to be designing anything. Oh, we've already done all this. Of course we have. So let's have a look at brakes. So front brakes definitely do need... they need a higher brake force as well and everything, so this is going to be a very interesting vehicle. So rear brakes can actually be tiny and they can be very soft from the braking force, but yeah, it's turning into a different vehicle than I'd anticipated. We want maximum cooling flow because that increases utility and reliability. We want, yeah, I mean, it does increase the fuel economy drastically, but it doesn't really matter at this time, especially considering that Helvetia doesn't really care too much about how much they pay for fuel. So yeah, let's have a little look around here. So I'll get to designing this vehicle and then I'll be back with you guys once I finish that. See you guys soon. And here we are designing the new van that we're making, and it took me a long time to actually figure out what I wanted to do with it. I knew that the interior was going to be pretty much the same as the one that we had in the op-ed, but I didn't exactly know what I wanted the exterior to look like, because I mean we haven't done a front engine vehicle, but like we haven't actually done a front engine vehicle yet, so I don't know what grill would look like for this company. But after a lot of thinking and figuring out and trying to figure out really what I wanted to do, I realized that all I really need to do is follow the lines of the body, and that's essentially what I did. And I think the final outcome of this vehicle, it really looks a lot better than I expected. I mean, it is a van, and I mean they're not pretty, but I feel like this genuinely turned out really nice. And it got to a point where I was like, I could always do little tweaks to it to make it look better, but it got to a point where after several hours I said, okay, enough now. But yeah, now I'm really happy with the outcome of this vehicle. And I mean, you'll notice the end color. I'm not great with colors. Funnily enough, I am actually colorblind, and the eagle eyes amongst you guys will see that I thought I chose a green. It's brown. And that apparently there's a red section in it which I haven't spotted until I actually made the car and finished the episode and did all the promo shots for it and everything. And that's when I realized there is a huge red piece still in the car, which really is annoying, but I'll fix it when we come to facelift it, or whatever we do with it in the end. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys to watch the rest of this time lapse, this rather long time lapse actually, and I'll be back with you guys shortly. Take care, see you soon. And here we have it, the van, which I have named Autostyle. It's just, I think it's the Swedish word for restore. I think it works. It looks nice, and I mean, it looks very much like a van. I mean, yeah, it's nothing special. I do like the way these vents turned out, and this grill's also not too bad looking. I do like the way that this is shaped and everything, how it flows with this line, and you know, that kind of little stuff. It's all the little details that matter. One cool thing yet again is it does have an interior. And what's all this? I'll fix this at some point. But the interior on this is pretty much the same interior as on the, I forgot what I've named it now, the normal car, the first car we've made, and I've pretty much just chucked it into here and decided that using the tooling that we've already got for the other interior, we'll use it for this. And we do have quite a nice boot space in here. I do like the way that the size of this has turned out. Ignore this. I didn't know this was here either. But yeah, it's a van, and I feel like it's turned out pretty nice. So let's get back into this view. What we're going to do is we're going to be making a pickup variant of this. Literally just a pickup variant of this for people who would desire that kind of thing. So without further ado, I'll get on to making that. And here we have the pickup variant, and honestly I think this looks even better than the van variant. This works so well. Just everything. I mean, the brake lights and the indicators do look a bit wonky. I'm not a huge fan of the way I've done that. I'll probably change that at some point before we put the car up for sale. But honestly, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. Like, this pickup, it just looks amazing with the interior and everything. It just makes this car feel like a car. It feels like you could genuinely just sit in there and drive it off right now. I love this. This is brilliant. So yeah, very happy with the way that this turned out. Yes, the car does suffer from a huge amount of wheel spin, but that's just because I've given it all-wheel drive, and I've pretty much put the spacing as high as I could get it to increase this towing capacity comparison. This is a new thing I've seen. It's towing capacity, and I don't know whether this is in kilograms or if this is just a random ass score. But I quite like the way this I don't know, I quite like this. So I've decided to try and get that as high as possible, and yeah, works. I'm happy with it. I do love the way this looks though, especially with this colour. So yeah, let's see if we can get these cars up for sale now. So the van does have 1,400 interest score, but that's just because there is genuinely no other car competing with it right now. I believe that's what it is. I mean, we do have one trim that's technically competing with it, but I don't think it's on the market yet, hence why the score is so high, so don't be alarmed. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the same thing we did with the other vehicle, although engineering time is a lot higher with this one, so we want it to be reliable, and we're going to put a little bit more. That doesn't really change much anymore, so 32 months it is, I guess. Alright, first we're going to have to work on getting a new factory up for the engine, so we're going to just do a small engine factory with this as well, and just be happy with it. There's no point in making a huge factory for this engine, because, I mean, to be fair, we could retool it in the future, but let's make a new factory. It'll only be a small engine factory, like I said, so it should be more than enough for this kind of car. Oh, I didn't realize this, but they actually have capital cities now. So yeah, we're gonna do a medium, actually let's do a medium plot, and then put a small 2 factory on it, I guess. So we'll do an iron foundry, and that'll be it for this factory, because we actually have to pay everything here. So we'll do the same thing. We'll do 80%, 70%, and be happy with it. And then how are we looking at actual production units? That's not very many, so let's see if we can get that up. We will have to make a bigger factory, which is quite annoying, but that's 1,900 engines so far. Let's see if we can get that higher. So, 2,200 engines, QA threshold, 2,100 engines, but the engine only costs $385 dues to produce, which is brilliant. So, let's go take a look at creating a factory for the actual vehicle, and then we'll see if it actually makes a profit. No, we don't. We want a new one, because we do want this to make a profit. And, well, we can only go with a medium plot, but no, we genuinely do want to make a profit out of this. So we'll do a small 3 factory. Oh, we'll just do a medium factory. So let's see how many this produces. Way too many. We'll do 2,700 is still a lot, so we're gonna have to bring that down. So maximum shifts we'll do 2.5, minimum shifts 1.8, target shifts we'll stick that at 2. That should be fine. We'll do 80% wages, we'll do 70% quality. I don't know if this really does much. I'm assuming it does. We're going to ramp down the automation and increase QA threshold to a point where engine factory should not be strained that hard. So we'll do 90.1. We'll do 90. We'll reduce tooling quality a little bit. And right now it's saying we have a huge margin for profit, 6,000, what do you call it, $6,000 in possible profit for this vehicle so far, per vehicle I believe that is as well. So if that is the case, this is going to be crazy, and for some reason none of this is working. Oh, there it is, and it's stock in shifts. What's stock in shifts? Estimate shifts, factory shifts. Hold on, what is all this? We'll sell the van for 7,000. We'll sell the pickup for 7,000, and then hopefully it makes a profit. I don't know. And it's making a profit the first year or so, but it's losing after that. So I guess we'll do 8,000 and 8,000. But we must remember that these vehicles are there to try and help rebuild Sweden, so we can't really sell them for too high. But look, we're now making a profit, which I'm hoping it's true, because it is a very small profit margin that we seem to be making per year. There you go. Now we're making an actual profit with this vehicle. Oh, that's 90,000. Don't think anybody will buy this vehicle at 90,000. So we'll do 9,000 and 9,000, and then hopefully we could make some sort of a profit with this. Hold on. 9,000. So if we sell them both for 9,000, I mean they do have 6-cylinder engines, so they are pretty much worth the money in my opinion. And there you go. We should be making a steady 22 million a year on these vehicles for the time being, until we facelift them and then we produce different variants and whatever. And honestly, I'll take it. I'm happy with it. So let's put this up for sale. We could probably actually balance out the price of producing this everything with the vehicle we're producing. So we're not going to take a loan. We don't want to take a loan. So hopefully we can make it through. But before we do that, I'm going to end the episode there. I know it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but I need something to keep you guys watching. So yeah, it's been really fun making this vehicle actually. I really enjoy making the interiors on these vehicles. So well, yeah, sadly we're gonna have to end it there. I have really enjoyed making this episode for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and yeah, I hope you have an amazing day. Goodbye.